The Peace Wall. If you are unfamiliar with the Northern Ireland conflict, the term peace wall will sound comforting and reassuring. To say that you spent your childhood or your retirement beside a peace wall could conjure up visions of harmony and accord. Nothing could be further from the truth.
This wall for over 30 years marked one interface for intercommunal violence in a city torn with religious and political differences, which resulted in a period of Northern Ireland's recent history known as the Troubles.
A peace line separating the Falls and Shankill areas was established by the Army as a short-term measure in the 1970s. Made of scaffolding tubes, corrugated iron, sandbags and barbed wire, it was to become a permanent eyesore. During the day, pedestrians could pass through a small gate and sections were open for vehicular access, but these were sealed at night.
Designed to prevent conflict and protect the communities, the wall itself permanently divided the two communities and changed the way of life in each.
Family unity and health deteriorated. Personal contact was lost. Strangers avoided the area. Residents moved away, the urban fabric deteriorated, direct travel was restricted, jobs were lost, investment was impossible, community services were disrupted. Emergency services were rerouted, and mothers attending a children's health clinic which spanned the divide used separate entrances.
This amounted to a virtual system of apartheid, based on 26 peace walls crisscrossing Belfast with the provision of separate services to the two communities, which is only now beginning to break down.
Our peace wall has outlived the Berlin Wall, and although at Cooper Way the scale and construction may have taken on permanence, today the emphasis is on peace, and this massive structure provides a broad canvas for messages of hope by visitors from around the world. The Dalai Lama and President Bill Clinton have allegedly signed the wall. If you can find their signatures, you deserve a prize.
Today, though the Troubles are now long over, the communities still want the wall to remain. And it was in response to this wish that a remarkable project was conceived in 2004 to transform the wall and create one of the world's longest outdoor art galleries, providing a high-profile canvas for the people of the Shankill area to explore their rich history and cultural heritage. If Walls Could Talk was created by the Greater Shankill Partnership with the idea of gradually covering the walls with world-class art which would reflect the stories of the Shankill community. That dream finally came to fruition in 2008 with the support of the Arts Council of Northern Ireland when the first 3 major artworks were commissioned. In this first one, Belfast artists John Johnson and David Craig explored conflict around the world in their artwork. Drawing in workshops they delivered in the Shankill and Haifa in Israel, they alluded to places where conflict is ongoing despite the impact of peace processes. Their work also features some of the most important historic figures who have influenced politics here, such as the Unionist leader Sir Edward Carson and the local community's participation in Orange Order marches. The two communities on either side of the wall are represented by 2 trees, which stand on different ground, but whose roots feed from the same soil. In the second piece, artists Dr. Eleanor Wheeler and Alan Cargo, both from Belfast, chose brick, fabricated steel and bronze plaques as their materials to symbolise the solidity of the wall. The main body of their work comprises 6 carved brick panels showing traditional life in the Shankill in the 2-up and 2-down houses that are still typical of the area. Fabricated steel bars represent threads of stories and ideas that intertwine and flow upwards, being passed from one generation to another. But the artwork doesn't just depict the social history of the area, but also tells a story of hope for the future, for the Shankill and its inhabitants. In the third piece, Dublin-based artists Brian Maguire and Brian O'Connor created their artwork alongside the people of the Shankill themselves. Many of the images you see in their piece came about as a direct result of holding art practice workshops with young people from 8 to 18 from the area. Stories too were gathered from people of all ages, such as Baroness May Blood, who talked of her time as a union organiser in the linen mills. A cross-section of ideas, memories, experiences and images, the artwork tells the multifaceted story of the Shankill through its community. Easy to understand, visually striking and thought-provoking, The three artworks offer a profound insight into the Shankill community and its story. But with only 60 metres of a 500-metre wall covered, there is still much more to be done before the world's longest art gallery is completed.
There is an aspiration among the Shankill community that the Peace Wall will, at some time in the near future, come down.